everyone, this is Roxy Fireway Flow, your mom. In today's video, we are going to be sharing what I think about the math curriculum, Saxon Math. Now, I have received over the years a lot of questions about Saxon Math and why I use it in my homeschool and people wanting to see what Saxon Math is all about. So today we're going to be talking all about it. And I'm going to attempt to answer as many questions as I can that come up with people that are thinking about using Saxon Math. It was the same questions that I had when I was looking into the curriculum and give you a little bit of background, how the program works and how it teaches your children math. So if you are somebody who is thinking about using Saxon Math and wants to get information on what it's all about, also if you already are a Saxon Math user and you're having any issues or frustrations or want to know more about how I make it the most efficient in my homeschool, stay tuned to this video because I am going to be sharing tips and tricks on doing the math curriculum. So if you want to hear all that information, stay tuned. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, everybody. Welcome to Fireway Flow, your mom. I'm super excited because I love sharing all of my homeschool journey here with all of you. I love sharing resources and helping those people out there that are thinking about homeschooling or on their homeschooling journey. So if these videos bless you, if you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and join the Fireway Flow, your mom community. Also hit the like button so that it helps the algorithm for more people to see my videos. So I really appreciate that. So today we are going to talk about Saxon Math. So Saxon Math is a math curriculum that I have been using in my homeschool for 4 years. I have been using it since my oldest daughter was in 3rd grade and we love the curriculum. So spoiler alert, we love the curriculum and we're going to talk about why we love the curriculum in this video today. So Saxon is a incremental approach to math. What does that mean? Saxon is a curriculum that breaks down math concepts into small little chunks per lesson, and your student will learn each of those small chunks every single lesson and then build upon that in the following lesson. Not to mention, they are also going to be getting a lot of practice as they go along. I love that because, and what people call that in the homeschooling world is a spiral program, as opposed to a mastery program. Now, a mastery program with terms of math is where you do a certain concept, you learn it, you master it, you do it over and over, but then once you've mastered it, you kind of let it go and you never practice it again for the rest of the year and you go on to the next concept. Saxon Math isn't like that. Saxon Math continuously builds upon math concepts incrementally, but you're always reviewing those concepts that you've learned throughout the entire year. And that's the way that I feel math should be taught, because math is something where you really have to get certain foundational concepts and then you build upon those concepts as you go along. And if you're not getting that constant practice and that constant review, you're gonna lose it. It's so important with math that you keep all of those things fresh. And so that's one of the things that really appealed to me when I was looking into math curriculum, is that I really wanted something where kids can learn and practice all the time the same concept that they're learning, because the stronger they are in those concepts, it helps them when they are learning new concepts in the future. And so that's one of the reasons why I really loved this program, because it helps students to be able to really get those math skills solidified in their minds. What I also love about Saxon Math is they focus a lot on mental math, and they focus on how to solve simple addition problems mentally, because it helps them with their math fluency. And so in Saxon, which I'm going to show you when I flip through the books with you, you're going to see that there's always going to be a section on mental math. Now that's something that I didn't even have when I was a child, to just learn that math mentally, because a lot of times, and especially when I was going to school, it was very much a do the math on paper, show your work type of thing, and they didn't really emphasize much mental math. And that's what I really love about Saxon Math, because my daughter's been using it since 3rd grade and she is so proficient in doing mental math. Like 9 plus 7, she knows it. 6 plus 8, she knows. She's very quick, and I truly believe it's because of Saxon Math. So what are the levels that I have used for Saxon? So I have used levels K1 and 2, which are from a different version of Saxon, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And I've used their intermediate kind of textbooks that were a little bit Common Core aligned, that were made by a different author. And I've also used I just started using now their homeschool version, which is the homeschool version of their curriculum. And that one I am now on 7-6. So my daughter is in 6th grade and she's using the homeschool version of Saxon Math, which is Math 7-6. So let me explain a little bit about how these different how the curriculum actually is laid out. So Saxon Math was developed by a man by the name of John Saxon, and he developed this program in the 80s. So people who have been homeschooling for a very, very long time before it became a thing, you know, after that whole 2020 disaster, they have been using Saxon for a very long time. And that's another thing that really appealed to me, because Saxon Math is a tried and true program. People that have used it have gone on to college. They have done very well. There has been a lot of success. If you look up online, there are a lot of studies that have been done with students that have used Saxon Math and how their performance in college has been using that program. And that to me is so, so important, because a lot of times here in the homeschool community, there are a lot of math programs, but a lot of them are new. And so they haven't been around for a really long time to really test and see if they're going to be translating into what they need to know for the college level. And so that's another thing that really appealed to me with Saxon Math, that it's tried and true, been around for a long time. They've even used it in public schools as well. Now, Saxon Math curriculum is kind of divided into two different parts, okay? You have the kindergarten level, 1st grade and 2nd grade level, and the 3rd grade level. And that level, those books, that curriculum from K to 3 was developed by a different person that was not John Saxon. It was actually somebody by the last name of Larson. And it applies similar Saxon Math concepts as far as the incremental approach and the constant practice, but it is written and set up in a very different format. That section of the Saxon Math curriculum, that K through 3 section of books, really is more a lot more teacher intensive. It actually has a ginormous book. I'm going to show it to you. So this is Saxon 3, which is what I'm using with my daughter right now. And it's actually like a ginormous book, where this is the teacher manual, where it has a script of what you are to say to your student, and basically you go through the script. Now, I loved this at the beginning of my homeschool journey, because I've never taught math before in my life. This was very helpful for me when I was beginning as a new homeschool mom, because I wanted to be able to have someone tell me how I'm supposed to teach these concepts, because, you know, adding, subtracting, multiplying is just easy for me to do. I do it in my head, but how do you break it down to teach somebody who doesn't know? And so I felt that this was really helpful for me as a new homeschool mom, because I was able to have that script that would help me to say the words correctly, to explain the concepts correctly. Now, the way that this is actually formatted is you have like a lesson preparation box here. And so it tells you what kind of materials you may need. Usually it's like some really basic math manipulatives. Now, if you order this on certain websites like christianbooks.com, you can get a set that brings all the manipulatives that you need for Saxon. But it basically has you know, this morning meeting thing, okay? And the morning meeting thing is basically a morning meeting that you have with your child, and you practice in that morning meeting counting and skip counting. You ask about the weather, you talk about how the temperature is outside, and there's all these different things. You look at a clock and you kind of practice telling time, all that kind of thing. And then you go through this like calendar meeting. You have a number of the day, which is like written on a little meeting strip. And you have just all these kind of different like activities that you do with your child as this part of this morning meeting. Then after that, you get right into the lesson. And the lesson, also the child has this little meeting book, and it has like little counting strips where you put in like their skip counting practice. And then it also has the calendar, a blank calendar, so you're able to practice the, calendaring every single day. And then you basically get into the lesson. Now, one of the things that I found was very frustrating with this beginning portion, this K1, 2, 3 of Saxon, is it took us a long time. The morning meeting thing was like super long, it felt, and I was spending about an hour just to do math, and that's without my child even starting the practice part yet. So that's the one con that I have with kindergarten 1, 2, 3 of Saxon Math, that it was just way too much. There came a point where I actually ditched the meeting and we just went right into the lessons, because of course I'm teaching other subjects, we have other things going on, and for me it was just way too much to go through like a 30-minute morning meeting, going through all of these things and then getting into the lesson. So K1, 2, and 3, if I could go back and do this all over again, I probably would not have used Saxon Math. I would have maybe used it, but kind of modified it and said, okay, let me just go right into the lesson, they do the practice, and then we move on. So that's because, again, it's just, I can't do labor-intensive preparation type of thing because I've got another child, we've got a lot of, things else to learn in our school. So what I actually recommend, and I did this with my youngest daughter as she was going up into in the younger elementary grades, is I didn't do from kindergarten until 3rd grade, I didn't do a formal math curriculum. In fact, what I used was something called the Moffatt Girls. The Moffatt Girls is a teacher that's on Teachers Pay Teachers, and she has a math curriculum that she has for children from, I believe, preschool all the way up until 2nd or 3rd grade. I think all the way even to 4th grade. But basically, it's just a small little group of lessons. She has what's called centers, and so children learn math concepts through the use of these centers. I'm going to link it in the description box below, so if you're looking for a math curriculum, I just don't feel that at that age children really need such a formal curriculum, because they just need to get the basic concepts: addition, subtraction, numbers, place value, time telling, things like that, money, stuff like that. Like, they just need to get those basic concepts. And I just feel that they're so young that they're not going to sit through, for the most part, at least my children aren't going to sit through you just kind of reading this script to them and just, because that's one thing with the Saxon program, it's really no frills. There's no color in it. It's just black and white, basic math. And so sometimes for younger children, that might not be very appealing. But I definitely recommend it for grades 3 and up. And the reason why is because of my angel, Nicole the Math Lady. Nicole the Math Lady is what we use with our Saxon program. And so I'm going to explain a little bit about her in a minute. Okay, so now let me talk about Saxon Math for the older grades. Saxon has the program that was developed by Larson for K through 3. But once you get into 4th grade and above, those were all by John Saxon, and I love that curriculum. Right now they have a regular version, and they have, well, actually they used to have a Common Core like school version, and then they had a homeschool version. I actually used the school version for 4th grade and 5th grade because I was still kind of new to homeschooling, and I still wanted to kind of be a little bit, along the line of public school, and I didn't want my child to have anything different. And so I was kind of a little bit with regard to math specifically. And so we used their books that were like tailored for the public school system. They actually discontinued that. Now the only thing that's left over is the homeschool math curriculum. So you would start with 4, 5, actually Math 5-4. And the reason why there's two numbers is because the first number is, for example, for the child that is in an older grade but is still struggling, they're going to use, let's say they are in 5th grade, but they are a little bit, need a little bit extra help. They can use Math 5-4, but really the second number is the grade level that that math program is catering to, and that would be 4th grade. It goes from Saxon 5-4 to then Saxon 6-5 to then Saxon 7-6, which is actually what we are on this year. We are on Math 7-6. My older daughter is in 6th grade, and she's using that program. And so this is, and it's all tattered, I'm so sorry, but it's all tattered up because we're pretty much getting to the end of the year. This is the Saxon 7-6 program. So this is the one that was developed by John Saxon, and it is a homeschool program for homeschoolers. And again, this first number is going to be the number that if you have, let's say, a 7th grader that's a little bit struggling and has some challenges, they're going to use the 7-6. But this is the second number is the one that is actually the grade level for the curriculum. So this is a 6th grade math curriculum book. Now, I love this program because, and I'm going to show you kind of how it's laid out. Okay, so let me just show you guys a lesson. If you could see it here. Basically what they'll do is there's a fact practice section. So they'll just practice basic addition facts or division facts or multiplication facts. Then there's a mental math section. There's a problem solving section where they give you like a problem to solve. And then it goes right into the new concept. Now this version of Saxon is meant for the student to do on their own. They're supposed to read the new concept. It has tons of examples for the new concept that they're learning, step by step, how to do whatever it is that the new concept is. Okay, and then it goes into what's called lesson practice. Now these are a practice set of questions that have to do with the new concept that they learned. Then they will have 30 questions for them to do on their own, and that we call mixed practice. Now, mixed practice means they're practicing concepts from other lessons that they've learned. As I have told you before, this is an incremental approach. It's a spiral program. So they're continuously practicing and practicing concepts they have learned throughout the year. And so that is what is entailed in here. Now, one thing that I really love about the lesson practice is that if you can see, like I'm pointing at number 22 right here, there's a little number in parentheses underneath. I'm hoping that this is focusing. It's right underneath, and it has like a little number in parentheses. What's great about it is every question in the Saxon book has that little number, and that little number represents the lesson that was taught where this problem came from. So if your student gets one wrong, they're able to go right back to that lesson number, and they're able to look and re-review that concept to see if there's something that they missed. This is like so game-changing for me because it really helps not only myself, but my daughter to really go back and figure out like what she needs to continuously review. And so this I think is so helpful, and I love that about the Saxon program. So basically they do their mixed practice, and then that's it. Usually it takes usually with Saxon they do one lesson every day. So there are a total of 120 lessons in Saxon Math. So pretty much if you do the Saxon Math, like for example in our homeschool, we do Saxon Math from Monday through Thursday. So we do it 4 days a week, and we pretty much finish the lessons. So now I'm going to kind of go into explaining how the math program actually works for purposes of our homeschool. So now I'm going to talk about how we use Saxon in our homeschool. Now, I am doing Saxon 3 with my 3rd grader, the one that has the script, and we've modified our use of that program. The way that we've modified it is we do not do the morning meeting. We only do the lesson, and we do the lesson with Nicole the Math Lady. Nicole the Math Lady is a subscription service where a teacher, a homeschool mom named Nicole, has gone ahead and made videos teaching every single lesson in the Saxon curriculum. She has videos from the Saxon 3 all the way up until high school, okay? So she has taught every lesson, and what it is she has a, and I'm gonna show it to you here, she has a website where you log in every day, your child will log in, they have their own login information, they log in and they access the video for that day, for that lesson. And so what they'll do is they'll watch the video, usually the video is about 7 to 11 minutes long, and she explains the math concept. She also does practice problems with them that are very similar to the ones in the book. She can't do the exact same ones because of copyright issues, but she does something that's reviewing that concept, and then that's it. And then there's also what's really fun that my kids love is this thing called Corny Brain Break, where she has students submit jokes and funny things into to her, and then she posts them, and it's just cool videos of kids doing like really funny jokes. My daughter really enjoys that, and it's a great little break from you know, going from the videos into her math work. Now, with my third grader, what we do for our Saxon 3 is we will not do the morning meeting. We just watch the video for that day. We will practice some skip counting, whatever it is that I think she may need to review, and some multiplication facts if I think she needs to review them. Okay, so she watches the video, and then after the video, we will go through the assignment that would be for the lesson that day. So the math program has these sheets that come with the program. Now they will have, every single lesson has some fact practice, so you'll have like 1 or 2 fact practice sheets, but for the most part, this is what they would be doing after they watch the video. So there are 2 sides. Basically, you have this part here, side A, and it goes through not only the concept that they've learned today, but they've also going to go through concepts that they've learned in the past. So there's a side A, and then there is a side B in the back. Now the side A problems are the same exact, it's basically side A and side B are the same problems, just plugging in different numbers. So if they were to do side A, for example, they would have covered all of the concepts for that review lesson that day. They don't need to do the B. Now, some people do it a little bit differently. Some people will work on side A together, so they will work with their student on side A, and then on side B, they would have them do it for homework later. Now, for us, for our purposes and for time, just to get, so that we can get through all the lessons in the year, we will typically, after Nicole the Math Lady's videos, we will go through together side A. I will have her do it on her own. Takes her about 15 minutes or so to do it on her own. And then if she gets anything wrong, like for example, let's say she got number 3 wrong, then I will use the problem number 3 in the back as a review for me to be able to review that concept that she got wrong. So basically, they're only doing side A of that worksheet that day. And it's great. You know, total, our math lesson with the videos lasts about 30 to 35 minutes is what we usually take for our Saxon program. Now, for my 6th grader, she will watch the videos on Nicole the Math Lady, and she will go ahead and go into the mixed practice. Now, what we have been doing, because for time purposes and because she's got so much other stuff on her plate, I only require my daughter in 6th grade to do the even problems on an even day and the odd problems on an odd day. And the reason is because for the most part, if they are doing either even or odd problems, they're practicing enough. They are practicing enough of the math concepts, in my opinion, for them to be able to do well. And we've been doing it this way, and she's still doing really well on her tests. And that's another thing about Saxon. They do have tests from the beginning levels all the way until the end. They have about 12 tests a year, and they also have something called investigations, and that's where they take a math concept and they kind of apply it in a different way, more towards like a real world setting. Now, we try to do the investigations, but we don't go crazy if we don't do them. Sometimes in the interest of time, it takes too long to do the investigation. I think one time my daughter did it, took her like over an hour to do it. So we don't do the investigations for the most part, but you could definitely do them if you spread it out throughout the year. So she will then put in her answers for her mixed practice into Nicole the Math Lady's website. And my favorite part is online grading. There is an online grading option as part of her membership where not only are you accessing the videos, but it's an add-on to that, and that is an online grading. So what you will do is your student will input all of the answers for her homework that day or for her work that day, and then it will generate a report that tells you how much she missed, what she got incorrect, how many tries she did in order to get the correct answer, and it generates a report for you. And so what happens is, what we usually do is at the end of the week, I will go through those reports and I will jot down all of the questions that she got wrong. And what I do is during our morning meeting the following week, we spend a little bit of time every single day that week going over those problems that she got wrong. And it's really important because it helps us to stay accountable with each other, me to stay accountable with her, and I don't have to sit and grade all of that stuff. Like I used to do that before I did the online grading, and it was super time consuming and just a nightmare. So it's great that she offers that feature, and it really isn't that much more expensive to have that option added on. And so we do the online grading. I look at the reports, we go through that, and then we go through any questions she got wrong the following day. Sometimes it requires us to have to rewatch a video, or she has to rewatch a video, and that's perfectly fine. But what I gotta tell you is I can't highly recommend enough Nicole the Math Lady. It makes Saxon really such an easy and seamless program to incorporate in your homeschool because of those videos. I think if I didn't have Nicole the Math Lady, I probably, would have a hard time having to teach math to a 6th grader because, again, as you know, 6th grade, it starts to get harder, fractions and all that stuff. And it's hard to, to actually break that down and teach. So I love Nicole. She's very engaging. She's very energetic. She makes the kids laugh. She sometimes does things like hands-on to show the kids. I remember this past week we had a lesson on volume, and she actually got different containers and was pouring water in different containers, showing children about how you understand volume. So she really does a fantastic job, and I cannot highly recommend it enough. Another reason why I love Nicole the Math Lady is it kind of takes math off my plate. I am all about raising independent learners and having children take charge of their own education. And so by 3rd grade, I start to begin that process. Like this year, during my 3rd graders morning meeting, we watch the videos together. But next year, she's gonna be in charge of logging in, watching her video, doing her work, and I'm just gonna be facilitating by reviewing the reports, seeing what she got wrong, what we need to review. So again, Nicole the Math Lady really helps with that independent learning. Okay, so one of the things I also wanted to mention that some people have asked me is, how do you get all of the lessons in the year? And whether or not you finish the curriculum till the end. Well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. One of the things about Saxon that's important to note is the first 15 to 20 lessons are a review of previous year's curriculum. So what I will do at the beginning of the year is I will give the first test to my older daughter, and I will have her take it. If she passes that test by at least 85 to 90%, gets them correct, I have her start on the lesson 10 because I know that she's mastered those concepts, she's gotten them, and we move on. So again, if I don't finish, let's say sometimes we'll get to lesson 115 or 113 and we have 7 lessons left. By the end of the year, I don't stress about it. I just move on to the next curriculum. Now, this year is a little bit different because my 3rd grader has had a little bit of challenges. And so we are probably only going to get to about lesson 100 this year. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the math program and rolling it over to the following year because I really don't want her to move on before getting the rest of the curriculum for 3rd grade in. Probably be doing the last 15 lessons or 20 lessons at the beginning of the school year. And again, I'm going to reevaluate her and I'm going to test her to see if she gets it. Then we'll move on to the fourth, to the Saxon 5-4, which is their other program that's like different from the Larson curriculum. So that's it. That's all that I wanted to share with you about Saxon Math. How do you like Saxon Math? If you're a Saxon Math user, do you have any tips and tricks for Saxon Math that you found have been helpful? What do you think about the curriculum as a whole? If you have any questions regarding Saxon Math or you want to see a more in-depth flip through, let me know and I will also try to get that lined up for you as well. But again, we love Saxon. We love Nicole the Math Lady. I've been using it since the beginning of my homeschool journey, and I really think my children are very, very good at math at this point. They obviously aren't perfect. They struggle sometimes, but they overall have a good grasp of math concepts, and I think they're well on their way to being fully prepared for college. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
In love, you set my wheels in motion. I'm going crazy for you.